Good morning. The halacha is as follows: that when one is praying, and this first part is specific to the Amidah, to the silent prayer, and then we'll see past that. But when one prays, we're not supposed to be leaning on something, whether it's leaning on a table, leaning on a wall, leaning even on a podium, on the bima. When one is praying Amidah, there's a halacha that we have to be standing, and standing is without any help. That's firstly. This is obviously excluding anybody who does not feel well or has a problem standing. We're excluding that. We're saying anyone who is healthy, who can stand upright, should not be leaning on anything at all. Secondly, that's the first. Secondly, there's another issue, and that's the issue of being arrogant in the Bet Knesset. When one comes into a synagogue, we have to understand that this is the makom, this is the house of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of God Himself. And therefore there are certain ways that we are not allowed to act, which make us, in effect, act in an arrogant way. One example, again, is let's say, leaning like this. Right? That's not proper. It's not honorable, it's not respectful, it's arrogant. You're in the house of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're not allowed to do that. Another, which is very, very common, and it's very important, when one crosses their legs on top of their other leg. Whether right on left, left on right, it doesn't matter. It's an arrogant, it's a form of arrogance, and it's brought down that it is prohibited to do so, to the point where it's brought down, and even Chacham Ovadia Yosef, his son, brings down, that when his father, Chacham Ovadia, would see someone in the Bet Knesset with their hands up, he would reprimand him. He would tell him, put your foot down. This is not your house. This is God's house. And it's important that we accordingly sit and compose ourselves in the proper decorum that the Bet Knesset deserves. Another which is brought down is, well, we could be sitting on a seat regular, or when you lean back and you stick your legs out and you're stretching, or any of that sort. All of that would not be permitted to be done in a Bet Knesset. Now, on the side, we know the whole inyan, the whole topic of eating and drinking in the synagogue is really not allowed. But if you're learning Torah there, it is allowed. But nevertheless, when a person finds himself in a Bet Knesset or a Bet Midrash, they have to understand that it's not an ordinary place. It's not a place like anywhere else. That there is certain rules and respect that's owed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, since this is the place where we worship Him, where we pray to Him and for ourselves. So therefore, it's very important to remember this halacha.
No coffee in the morning.
So coffee in the morning is permitted because it's mitzavchei tefillah. To some, again, I'm not one of them. To some of them, if you don't drink coffee, you can't pray. So it's understand, right? Whatever it needs to be done, like a person who can't stand up. So he's allowed to lean on it. He's definitely allowed. But anyone who does something that's not an absolute need for the tefillah would be an issue. Brought down in the same halacha is talking things that have nothing to do with mitzvot or with the tefillah or with halacha at all. All of that talk should not be done in the Bet Knesset as well, especially during the time of prayer. So B'ezrat Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help us remember this very important halacha, B'ezrat Hashem.